WLBT News starts now with breaking news.
A man firing shots at an 18-wheeler after a crash on Interstate 220 eventually leads to Jackson police shooting the suspect.
Well, Jackson's police chief says the suspect pointed a gun at officers after they responded to the scene and started to pursue him. 3 News Sides was first on the scene, and Nathan Lee joins us now live with the newest information on this case from JPD.
That's right, Maggie and Howard. We now know the officer that was involved had sustained no injuries and that the suspect is in custody and is now being treated for the injuries that they sustained in the shooting. So let's give you a rundown on what happened. The situation first took place on Interstate 220, where a car accident took place. The suspect, who was in a stolen vehicle, wrecked into an 18-wheeler. Then the suspect allegedly got out of their car and started shooting at the truck driver. Once officers made it to the scene, the suspect ran on foot and then shot at a narcotics officer on McCain Avenue. Officers then got into a gunfire exchange with the individual, leading to the suspect getting shot in his lower extremities, according to JPD Chief Joseph Wade. Chief Wade speaks about how the officer that was involved in this shooting is feeling after.
Yeah, he's shaken up. He was not injured in any type of way, but emotionally and mentally, yes, he is shook up. He's hurt. This is something that he did not see coming today, nor did he want to fire upon someone. So my heart and prayers go out to him and his family and the whole JPD family. I know the work they do every single day.
NBI is now leading the investigation on this shooting, but like I said, the officer that was involved in this shooting did not get shot, but the suspect that was hit with fire from the officer is getting his injuries treated at this time. But like also, McCain Avenue still has this scene, so expect some traffic if you are in this area, as well as the scene on McCain Avenue. But that's all from Jackson. I'm Nathan Lee, WLBT 3 on your side.